the people want to see the end of corporate democracy. Elected officials must be our servants and not our master.
And we need to have people run for office that aren't owned or controlled by anybody but the people.
The politicians are puppets, period.
We need to undo Citizens United and make sure that these cold, heartless, and soulless corporations aren't allowed to destroy our most vulnerable people.
Ready?
Sing hey, 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 buy a candidate today, and he'll become your buddy through and through. Sing ho, 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 if he's desperate for your dough, he will do what you tell him to do. We control all the shares, we're the brazen billionaires, we're determined to keep it that way. Though there's money to burn, we expect things in return, and we get what we want when we pay. Sing hey, 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 buy a candidate today, and he'll become your buddy through and through. Sing ho, 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 if he's desperate for your dough, he will do what you tell him to do.
I'm so glad you came out this morning, and we really don't want to see this happen, do we? Elected officials must be our servants and not our masters. We disagree with the Supreme Court, and we demand that this decision be forever erased. You know, someone asked Mussolini to define fascism. He defined it. He said, I prefer to call it corporatism. Someone asked a similar question to FDR. He said, when the private sector has more power than the federal government, I call that fascism. That's FDR.
Well, I hope Uncle Sam isn't dead, but he's certainly on life support system right now. We put a resolution in the LA City Council. Yes, we were the first in the nation. The first time it hit my brain, frankly, was when the Supreme Court did rule 5-4 that corporations were people. They then restructured all the laws in this great nation to be in compliance with the Supreme Court. That's when I first stood up on the council floor and I voted no. I would not participate in modifying our laws to be in complement with the Supreme Court that I felt was wrong and out of place and should be ashamed of itself. The city of Los Angeles were the first to put a motion forward. It rippled to New York. It's going all over the country. And we need to change our Constitution. We need to get rid of corporations as people. But frankly, more importantly, we need to get money out of the political process. Period.
Public financing.
Let me just be clear about money out of politics. Some of you know there was a day when I was doing cable television. I did 3,000 public affairs shows. Absolutely everyone was balanced and objective, and I facilitated the discussion to empower the people to decide what they wanted to do. Why did I do that? Because the people own the airwaves, not the corporations. The people do. Let's go back to the way it was in the 80s, and around election times, clear the docket, put objective, fair, and balanced, informative election specials. And let me tell you, folks, 30-second sound bites is a disgrace to the political process in this country. A disgrace. And all these talk shows of opinions and attitudes and know-it-all types has continued the perpetuation of keeping the American people unaware, uneducated, and unable to really engage in the political process. So if we can get the Congress to show leadership with the FCC and force the broadcasters and cablecasters to open up their airwaves like they do all over the world and get rid of 30-second commercials, there won't be need for all those big bucks to buy those airwaves.
Corporations are not on the front lines of war. Human beings are. Citizens pay taxes so that institutions can receive government subsidies. People vote for elected officials who are bought by corporations. Your rights aren't your rights anymore. They're the rights of corporations. Corporations share the same rights that you and I have, but they have none of the culpability that we have. I'm issuing a call today to all veterans, regardless of branch, regardless of time in service, all veterans, to come out and uphold that oath you took once again. Protect the people, protect the Constitution. This is our duty.
Back in 1980, there were 26 major media companies. By 91, it was down to 11. Today, there are 5. Back in 1980, 1% of the country owned 18% of the national wealth. Today, the top 1% own 43% of the national wealth and 56% of the financial wealth. The developers and the banks, the fat cats, are all funding these politicians. Jan Perry's running for mayor, Xavier Oslavsky, they're getting real estate developer money. All right? The stuff that matters doesn't get covered by the press. The financial flows, the money flows, the puppet strings and who pulls them. They talk to you about religion, abortion, stuff to keep you divided, to keep the illusion that there's a real election going on. It's bad. It's bad. It's getting worse. The corporations aren't going to give up power. They own the 1% own 43% of the national wealth. They're not going to change because of electoral. Obama was your test. He failed. All right, wake up. It's time for you. We got to grow this crowd. We have got to get to thousands, and we've got to be visible. We've got to reach a critical mass, and we've got to take this to the next level. What that means, I don't have a crystal ball, but things are bad, and the America that those vets fought for is quickly dying, all right, if it hasn't gone already. Wake the country up, take our country back, take our Constitution back.
These corporations, a lot of them aren't even owned by Americans. I mean, I guess the billionaires over here could argue that they have a right to buy campaign ads with their money. But soulless corporations owned by foreign investors do not. This is America, and I'm willing to fight for America and for Americans.
The strategy for overturning Citizens United, since the corporate constitutional rights was actually written into that decision, it looks like the only thing we can do is amend the U.S. Constitution to clearly establish that only living persons are entitled to constitutional rights and that money's not the same as speech, and therefore we have the right to regulate our elections in whatever way we see fit. Move to Amend is a coalition of organizations nationwide that's working on the amendment. We've started locally with the intention of passing a resolution in the city of Los Angeles, and in just 10 short months, we succeeded, which was a great sense of victory and empowerment for all of us, and many of the people here are the ones who participated and made that happen. So the movement's spreading. Shortly after that, as Bill Rosendahl said, the city of New York City followed suit. We were first in terms of the major cities, and there have been a lot of other smaller cities: Missoula, Montana, Madison, Wisconsin, Boulder, Colorado. As you know, amending the Constitution is a huge job. It takes a 2/3 majority of the states to introduce it and then 3/4 to ratify it. So this is going to have to be a really big mass movement of the 99% standing up and saying, we want our government back. So I just want to say thanks, everybody, and the sign-up sheets are over there, and democracy is not dead.